Bam. I missed the little chime that Hangouts used to have. But we are live. Hi, Brad.
Hello.
Hi. All right, I'm going to close this, close that, and I don't need that. Actually, you know what? Hang on. We are going to go here. All right. And I don't need that. Actually, you know what? Hang on. Chat, pop out chat in case somebody wants to show up and chat with us. All right. Delete that. All right. We are rolling. Here we go. Welcome to the Alien Invasion number 234, recorded on Thursday, January 18th, 2018. I'm Dave Nelson, along with Brad Ludwig. Hello, Brad.
Hello.
Coming up, 5 exoplanet system discovered thanks to... Okay. Coming up, 5 exoplanet system discovered thanks to citizen scientists. Plus a sighting, along with our picks and warnings. Before all that, though, our question. See? I got all fancy there.
Boom.
All right. What famous UFO encounter or alien abduction do you think should be made into a movie or TV program, and why? You got your Roswell, you got your Rendlesham, you got the Pennsylvania one. I forget the name of that one.
I think it's called the Pennsylvania one.
Yeah. If you can think of one that you know of that you think would make a great movie or TV show, what would it be? You're going to say Roswell, aren't you?
No, quite honestly, I think Rendlesham, just because it involves the US and the UK.
Yeah. And I'm really surprised that nobody has made it into like some kind of live action thing yet.
Yeah, I could see like the possibility of, maybe a portion of the movie is from the US side and the other portion is from the UK side, and kind of like um almost somewhat non-linear in fashion. So you do well.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah, I think that would be kind of interesting to see, how like the different militaries would have handled things differently. And it seemed like the UK side was a bit more open about what had happened versus the US.
Yeah.
It would be very interesting to see that dramatized.
Okay. I like where you're going with that. I can picture it. You know what? It's always good when you can picture it in your head, and I can picture your idea in my head. Okay, I have to say Roswell, but actually,
Roswell.
you know what? Roswell has been made into TV shows and movies before. So I'm gonna go with the sighting that I brought up a couple episodes ago, I believe. It's the one in Canada where the guy was out, he was mineral hunting or something like that with his dog, and he stumbled into a clearing and saw a UFO and walked up to it. And then some exhaust came out, hit him in the chest, and then it took off. And he had some symptoms later on of like radiation sickness. I think that would make for a great movie or TV show.
Okay.
No particular. Yeah. I don't have any particular reason. I just know that it's got interesting details. It's not just a regular sighting, right? It's got a physical aspect to it. He actually sees inside the craft, and he's somebody that didn't really know anything about aliens. So he's a pretty credible witness.
Sure.
All right.
Huh.
Producers in Hollywood, go. All right. I think that's good enough. Good enough. Good enough. Ha, 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 ha. Good enough. Sorry. All right, you ready for your news story?
Yes.
All right. All right, Brad, you have the news story this week, so lay it on us.
All right. I really kind of I intentionally left the pause there. No, I occasionally will you just talk about exoplanets, and yes, it doesn't include aliens, but that doesn't mean that there isn't possibly a possibility of life there. And I found another story about exoplanets, and in fact, it's citizen scientists who discovered a grouping and a whole system of exoplanets. And this comes to us from space.com. Here we go. A family of 4 planets orbiting a distant star was discovered last April. So it would have been April of 2017, with the help of citizen scientists around the world. In a new paper, researchers reveal some fascinating features of this alien solar system, including the presence of a 5th planet. The planetary system is called K2 138, and it is the home of at least 5 sub-Neptune planets, meaning that they are between the size of Earth and that of Neptune, according to the new study. The planets all orbit extremely close to their parent star, even closer than Mercury orbits the Sun. What's more, the paper suggests that these planets may have formed further away from their parent star than they are now, and then journeyed inward together in an exceptionally calm manner.
Move along.
We kind of like this guy over here. Let's get closer and find out what this is all about.
We'll follow him for a while.
He seems pretty cool. The Exoplanet Explorers program got a big boost in publicity 2 weeks after it launched, when it was featured on the Australia Broadcasting Company's television series Stargazing Live, co-hosted by celebrity physicist Brian Cox.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, he's pretty freaking cool. For 3 consecutive nights, within 48 hours of the program's debut, more than 10,000 people had participated in Exoplanet Explorers and classified over 2 million systems, according to the statement. Some of the major findings reported in the new paper are the discovery of a 5th planet and hints of a possible 6th planet in the data. The star at the center of this system is slightly smaller and cooler than our sun. While the innermost planet might be rocky like Earth, the other 4 known planets are gaseous like Neptune.
Who farted? Oh, those other planets. That's it.
Yes, they are. They've eaten a lot of broccoli, and I got nothing.
I'm so juvenile.
Well, there's no shame in it. Farts equals funny. There's no shame in that. I think it's really cool that citizen scientists are getting involved and are putting out a body of work that is overall helping further the search for extraterrestrial life, and whether that's microbial or intelligent, whatever. Exoplanets are really the thing that we're looking at right now, because who knows when this planet's going to go, and we need to get the heck off.
Yeah.
But it also helps us better understand how life started here, and better find our place in the universe. It's just an extension of scientific discovery that we've done as human beings all along. So I just think it was really cool that these, and not just this group of individuals, like a whole group of people around the world were a part of this program, and they cataloged 2 million systems.
Wow. That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Within 2 days. And it was 10,000 people that were a part of it. So they all pooled their data together to put this information. It's just, it's amazing.
That's how we're gonna find Earth 2. You know,
Yeah,
that's the way it's gonna happen. It's not
I
gonna be a
think
bunch
so.
of scientists in a room. It's gonna be the power of the people. Now, how do they do it? Did they did they have data that they just looked over?
That's a very good question. Let me take a closer look at the story as to how they gathered the data. I trimmed it for time and content because the article is very long, and if you go to the show notes, you can read the entire story. Uh, this is okay. So this was information used from the K2 mission, which ah crap, which observed like 280,000 stars in 3 years. So they were pouring over data that had already been accumulated, and I swear to God, space.com is a crap page. All right. This is using the Kepler telescope data. And oh, actually Kepler suffered some hardware failures and it can't operate the way it had initially intended, but the K2 mission allowed Kepler to continue operating in another way. And so they had the software that can kind of sort through the initial data and select stars that might be, home to some planets, and then they sort through that and try to come up with, how many planets are there. And yeah, it's really, really kind of interesting. So they've really been kind of crowdsourcing the data, and this was a part of that particular crowdsourcing event that was done.
It was
So
just a bunch of number crunchers, basically.
essentially, yeah.
That I don't think I could do that. I couldn't. My eyes couldn't handle it. My antsiness couldn't handle it. I couldn't. I couldn't be in a room just looking at pure numbers all day, or
Yeah.
whatever form it takes. I just couldn't do it.
It takes a certain kind of person, and there's no shame in saying that you're not that person.
No, I'm not. I'm not that person, Bradley.
And there's no shame in that.
Could you do it?
No.
Okay.
I'd, I might be able to do it for a while, but no, I don't think I could do it for a long period of time. And it would really kind of depend on how that data looked. I mean, if it's all spreadsheety, I might fall asleep while I'm doing it. So
They spread what?
Spreadsheety.
Just making sure. Just double check.
I'm making up words. Yeah, I didn't say an explicative. No.
Those sheet hole places in
Yes.
the world. Yeah. Okay.
That's only if you put them in a 3-ring binder. You have to put sheet holes in them to put them in the binder, so you can collect that data.
Nice. All right. I think that's a good place to stop.
That is
right there. All right. Hang on. Let me stop it. All right. So we're at 13 minutes right now. All right. I think we're doing pretty good. All right. On to the sighting. So I'll do my sighting since you did the story. We'll go back and forth like we usually do. All right. So this is something that somebody saw once that may or may not be, a UFO, flying saucer, extraterrestrial craft. This is our sighting section. And this week's comes to us from the past. The far past, actually. Pretty far. September 1st, 1974. Langenburg, Saskatchewan, Canada. My current country of residence. Saskatchewan's up there north of North Dakota. Just saying that, just for reference.
Thank you.
All right. I love how this is written too. So hang on. The skies were gray and threatening, but Edwin Furr was on his swather in a field of canola. I don't know what a swather is. Do you know what a swather is?
What?
Swather. Swather. It's some kind of machinery that a farmer would use. No? Okay.
It is a oh. Okay. Let me find a good sized. Here we go. I'm going to do a screen share. So for you YouTubers, you can see what a swather looks like.
One of those things.
Yes, that is a swather.
Right. I've seen those a number of times. I just didn't know the name of it. Okay, good. Good. All right. So on with the sighting. Didn't take us very long to get distracted, did it?
No. Record time.
Moving up a small incline, he glanced up and spied something made of metal in the grass. His first thought was that someone was playing a joke on him or had dumped junk in the old slough. Slough? S-L-O-U-G-H? Slough?
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 Slew?
I don't know.
Slough?
As the swather.
Slog?
S words here. As the swather moved up the incline, the slough or slough came into full view. I'm sure it's just a field. The metallic something was one of 5 machines rotating rapidly and hovering just above the grass. Fuhr, startled, stopped his swather, climbed down, and took a few steps toward the hovering machines. Then, overcome with fear, he stopped and began slowly to ease back to his idling swather. The machines continued to hover and spin, then slowly lifted about 100 feet above the ground. They maneuvered into an echelon formation and rose at a much greater speed. Each vented a brief puff of smoke and in seconds disappeared over the horizon. At the controls of his swather, Fuhr was almost paralyzed with fright, and barely able to put the machine into gear. At lunch, he was unable to eat. When he inspected the site where the strange visitors had been, he saw 5 circular depressions. Most of the tall grass was pressed down, and in places was twisted, as it would be by a spinning object. The circles were exactly 11 feet in diameter, and there was unflattened grass in the center. Fuhr said the mystery machines were made of what looked like stainless steel, but had a brushed finish. Each was about 5 feet high at the peak of its dome-like structure. There were no windows or portholes, no antennas or other projecting parts, except something resembling a short exhaust pipe, the source of the vapor the objects emitted as they rose through the overcast. This is worded very strangely. The Center for UFO Studies in Illinois sent a specialist to the farm, and he found no reason to dispute Fuhr's report. Corporal Ron Morier, Canada's probably French, Morier of the RCMP concluded that the 5 circles were caused by something exerting what had to be heavy exhaust or air pressure. Whatever was in there came out of the air and departed the same way as far as I could tell. So, there you go. 1974. I'm going to just sum it up here in my own words. 1974, farmer in his field. He's going through his crops, comes over the hill, sees metal, thinks it's somebody that just kind of is playing a trick on him or something that maybe fell in his field. But he gets further over the hill and he sees these machines. They're hovering and they're making a thing. They're making a pattern in his crops. Gets closer and then gets freaked out, goes back to his tractor, and then they take off, and then he takes off to lunch. That's what it sounds like to me. There you go.
It is a slough, which is a swamp.
That was my first thought. My first pronunciation thought was slew. It's one of those words that doesn't look like the way it is spelled. The way it's spelled doesn't look like the way it should be spelled, the way it's said. No, you can say, shut up, Dave, and I will shut up, and we'll
That's all right.
Like nothing happened.
But I like you, Dave.
So this is probably one of the first cases of a crop circle, I'm guessing. Because crop circles weren't really a thing until like the 1980s, right?
I don't know.
We could look that up.
I think that's
crop circles, Wikipedia.
The term was first coined in the early 80s by Colin Andrews. Yeah.
Okay. When was the first instance, though, of a crop circle?
Well, a number of crop circles has a substantially increased from the 1970s to current times.
Okay, so his may be one of the first crop circles.
No, actually, 1678 news pamphlet, "The Mowing Devil," is claimed some cereologists to be the first depiction of a crop circle.
Okay.
Crop circle researcher Jim Schnabel does not consider it to be a historical precedent because it describes the stalks being cut rather than bent. Okay. 1686, British naturalist Robert Plot reported on rings or arcs of mushrooms, see fairy rings, blah, blah. And 1880 letter to the editor of Nature by amateur scientist John Rad Capron describes how a recent storm had created several circles of flattened crops in a field. So it's potentially prior to the 20th century.
They really stepped up in the 1970s, 1980s.
1932 would be one of the first described as a circle in which the barley was lodged or beaten down while the interior area was slightly mounded up. So,
Patrick Moore, amateur astronomer, 1963, described a crater in a potato field in Wiltshire, which he considered was probably caused by an unknown meteoric body. Thank you.
Boom.
I speak for a living. Did
That's
you know
right.
that? You might be surprised.
I'd heard a rumor.
All right, so there you go. That is our sighting this week. If you have a sighting of your own, we would love to hear it. We've had some before. aliens@gncasts.com. Call our voicemail number, 805-328-3966, or hop onto our website, gncasts.com, and record a voice message. We'll get it, and we'll get it on the air, and we'll get it on the podcast, not on the air. Podcast is what we're doing here. All right. That's your sighting. Good to go.
Nice.
All right. So you'll do your pick here, and then we'll wrap up the episode. So go for it, Brad.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't put a pick in the system. Crap. I got everything else done, but I didn't get my pick.
Do you have one? Do you have one that you could use as a pick?
Trying to think of anything alien based that I've...
Could be something that you've watched in the past. You want me to do mine, and then you can think about it while I'm doing it?
Yeah, why don't we do that, just to keep things moving.
Okay. Okay, so picks and warnings time. I picked a TV show, which is available, I believe, on Amazon Prime Video, but I'm not sure because here in Canada, it's on the Space Network. It's called Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams. And the episode that I picked for my pick is called Human Is. So I'm going to kind of just, and if you haven't seen the show, I'm going to spoil it. And Brad, I'm sorry, because you may get a chance to watch this someday. Maybe you have already. I don't know. But there's no way around me not spoiling the end because it involves aliens, right? So
Yep.
that's the big reveal at the end. And we couldn't do it unless I actually spoiled it. So there, I already spoiled it.
That's all right.
So Electric Dreams is an anthology series. These episodes are all based upon a Philip K. Dick story, be it a complete book or short stories, although I think it is all based on short stories. And the Electric Dreams part comes from Android's Dream of Electric Sheep, which was the original story for Blade Runner. Is that it?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll read the synopsis from Wikipedia and then I'll kind of put it in my own words. Mission Director Vera Herrick is trapped in a loveless marriage with military hero Colonel Silas Herrick, played by Bryan Cranston. Silas returns to the planet of Rexor 4 to obtain a substance needed to process Earth's toxic atmosphere because they're running out of air, basically. The atmosphere has become so toxic that people can't breathe. They can't get oxygen, really, from it anymore. Okay, so he comes under attack from the local Rexorians. He'd gone before, but then he has to go back because this is like their last ditch effort to get this the substance to help Earth regain its oxygen. So, okay, so they come under attack. They think that everybody's dead, that they got the whole crew. When their ship returns on autopilot, Silas has apparently survived. And Vera finds him uncharacteristically kind and considerate. So, beginning of the episode, it was, he did his thing, she did her thing. They didn't really sleep together at the same time. They didn't show any passion for each other. So he comes back from this mission and he's like a changed person. Red flag. But she apparently really didn't pay attention. So at the end, the couple's arrested by the state, who believe that Silas has been taken over by a Rexorian consciousness. It's a really cool story. Very sad because that could be us, in the future sometime with no atmosphere left. It's, Earth's last remaining occupants. They're struggling to survive. It's their last ditch effort to get what they need. And he goes off and becomes basically taken over by this alien creature. But it's also like, she almost accepts that because it changed him. It's the husband that she always wanted, or it's the husband that she had before, and he's back now. And there was some sex. I'm not gonna lie. There's a couple of sex scenes. Like before he takes off, she goes into like a seedy district of where they live.
Mm-hmm.
And basically she goes to a BDSM club and gets it on with a couple of people. And I love Canadian TV because they don't censor very much at all. They don't censor swearing. They don't censor nudity. So yeah, there's that. And then when he comes back, they show them doing it.
You make it sound so seedy. Doing it.
Doing it right. That's the song.
Doing it well.
So yeah, I highly recommend this show. I highly recommend this episode. They've had a couple of episodes, or we've only seen 3 so far. No, 4, I think. And 1 or 2 were kind of like, yeah, it's okay. But for the most part, they're really good. If you like things like Black Mirror, you'll love this show as well. So again, Philip K. Dick's Electric Dreams. The episode is called Human Is, and I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 flying saucers.
What?
Yep. Uh-huh.
That is amazing.
So if you want to get the link to know more about this episode of Electric Dreams, you can find it in the show notes, and you can enjoy it as much as I did.
Nice.
All right. And we'll do one close here, and then we'll do another close. We'll basically do 2 shows back to back. So we'll do a close, and then we'll start over again. So where's my, there it is. Okay. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Alien Invasion, a Galactic Network podcast. If you'd like to read more about the stories that we covered on this episode, click on the links in the show notes. We'd like to thank Monkey Warhol for giving us our intro song. It's called Alien Syndrome. You can find it and more of his music at monkeywarhol.bandcamp.com. Also, thanks to Retward von Dernberg, a composer from Germany, for our closing song called Be Water. You can find out more about him and his stuff at thecaravel.net, TheCarvel.net. And also thanks to Ben Olson. Also thanks to Ben Olson.
Ben!
Thank you for recording our disclaimer audio at the very start of the episode. Go to benolson.com to find out more about him and what he does. So before we get out of here, final thought, Brad, what do you got? Anything?
The Predator movie is coming out August of this year. It is directed by Shane Black. So my money is on something happening over Christmas, or Christmas will be mentioned.
Okay. Is that a thing with his movies?
That is a thing with his movies.
Wasn't he an actor in the original Predator?
He was.
Cool. And what else has he done? I forget.
Oh God, he did Lethal Weapon. He did more. He did crap. He did. He did Iron Man.
The first one?
2. No, he did Iron Man 3.
Okay.
Gosh darn it! Now I gotta look it up.
Stupid Dave asking me questions, answers I don't know.
Frickin' Dave! No, he did Iron Man 3. He did the Marvel one-shot Agent Carter, which was the short that was the bonus on the Iron Man 3 DVD. He did RoboCop 3, which we'll forget about. Hunt for Red October, The Last Boy Scout, Lethal Weapon 2, Lethal Weapon 1. He directed the original Predator. He started as an actor in Night of the Creeps.
Ooh. So it's all coming back around again. He's bringing the franchise home, basically.
Yeah. I think that's and he's come so far as a director. He's a really good director. Oh, and he did one of my favorite movies in 2005, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
All right.
If you get the chance, it's Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer. And it is a great, great modern noir film. It is amazing.
Buddy cop movie?
No, it is not.
All right. So we have that's one of the movies that we have to look forward to this year. There are plenty more where that came from. All right. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
All right. So I'm going to save this as, so just the people watching us on YouTube, we're recording 2 episodes now. So we can make the people happy that miss the weekly episodes. They're going to be a little bit shorter, but not by much, really, when you think about it. Only by
we're very chatty anyway.
Yeah. So this would be episode 234. Okay. I'm going to save the project. Save project as
project.
That's how they say it in Canada. Project.
In Canada?
Yeah, in Canada, some people say it that way, others don't. It's a weird country. I say 234?
Yes, you did.
Okay. So that's saved. I'm gonna I wish YouTube had the ability to pause. Pause the video. That'd be good. All right, close project. All right, we'll start a new one. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Did you find a pick?
I did.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to just change one thing here. All right. Speaking of Rendlesham. All right. Oh, by the way, Growly Bear is watching us.
Growly Bear!
I have the YouTube chat open.
What?
Okay. Copy. You may be saying something right now, but I would have no idea because it's underneath. Paste. All right. Here we go. Welcome to the Alien Invasion number 235, recorded on Thursday, January 18th, 2018. My name's Dave Nelson, along with Mr. Brad Ludwig. Hello, Brad.
Hello.
All right, coming up on this episode, a colonel says Rendlesham airmen could have been abducted by aliens. Plus, a sighting, along with our picks and warnings. Before all that, though, our question. You get to ask it.
I get to ask the question?
Yeah, it's yours. So
what?
You ask it. Yeah. Yeah.
Holy crap.
So go ahead.
All right, Dave. The question this time round is, if you landed on an alien planet, and essentially you were the alien on this planet, would you give honest information about the Earth, or would you just make up random facts? And facts are in quotations.
I don't think I would pull a Trump. I think I would compromise and exaggerate the truth, because they don't need to know the real truth. They don't need to know everything, because some things make us look bad, make the human species look bad. So what I would do is and people do this throughout history already. They take a set of facts and they change them to suit your needs, or to make certain people or certain events not as bad or better than they would have looked if you would have gone with the exact truth. So I think for our sakes and for their sakes, I would exaggerate the truth, but I wouldn't just make things up.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we have different kind of humans. Some humans have 3 arms and like a giant eyeball in the middle of their forehead, and they can melt your brain with their minds. Like, I wouldn't freak them out like that, but I would exaggerate the truth a little bit.
Okay.
How about you, Brad?
Oh, my first response is just to go off the rails and like, oh, this isn't my real skin that I'm wearing. This is my leaving the planet skin. Of course, then that might, oh, why don't you take your skin off? So that might not work so well. I might have to give a lot of thought as to what shenanigans I would pull, but there would be shenanigans. Oh, there would be shenanigans.
Would it depend on the type of alien that you encounter, though? Like, if they're threatening, like if they have the ability to get to our planet easily, and they're a very threatening species, I think that your lies would depend on that, determining that.
Yeah. Yeah. It would really kind of, if there were like really pompous aliens, I would definitely pull some fast ones,
All right.
just to feel better about myself as a person, I
Or if
guess.
they were idiot aliens, you could really play with them.
Well, see, then that would be no, that would feel wrong. If they're just being real jackasses, then yeah, I would stick it to them. Are you kidding me?
Okay. Stick him to a good.
Stick it to them.
Okay.
How do you like them apples?
All right. That concludes our question portion of this podcast. On with the news. Here we go. Colonel says Rendlesham airmen could have been abducted by aliens. Is that an enticing headline for you, Brad?
I am intrigued.
All right. I shall read on then. A previously unseen interview with retired Colonel Charles Halt. I think I remember seeing him in the documentaries that I have watched concerning Rendlesham. That was filmed for a never-released documentary, has revealed that he thought it was possible the 2 U.S. airmen were abducted by aliens during the alleged Rendlesham UFO encounter. He'd never said this before, but he came out with it to these documentary filmmakers. In the footage recorded in 2010, Mr. Halt is heard stating one officer may have been abducted and that the men were unaccounted for hours. So they couldn't get a hold of him. They couldn't reach the soldiers, the airmen, whatever. They couldn't get a hold of them. They couldn't reach them. I just repeated myself. Sorry.
Right.
It is thought to be the first time a claim of alien abduction has been made in connection with Rendlesham, dubbed the British Roswell. And Mr. Halt did not state it in his official memo to the UK Ministry of Defence, the MOD, at the time of the incident. So, just to review what this incident was about, it was, you can help me with this too, Brad, to fill in the gaps a little bit.
Okay.
Rendlesham is a forest, and there's 2 military bases there.
Correct.
There's the US and there's the UK. And this is a time where we're in the middle of the Cold War. The Soviets could attack the West at any moment. So I think some soldiers are out on patrol and they see a light and they have to investigate because they're on patrol, right? They're like security people. And then they have to stop and they go into the forest and then they encounter what is a UFO, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And as I recall, one of them touches it.
Yeah. And they see writing on it.
Yep. And he felt like he was getting information kind of crammed into his head.
Yep. And then I believe it came back the next night.
Yeah, it came back a couple of times.
And isn't there a story about like some people claim that the aliens met with like some human authorities, like some higher ups, I believe?
I don't know about that.
Okay. All right.
But I do remember that when they went back to investigate, though, there were certain areas that they had pointed out where things happened where it was very radioactive.
Wow.
So something happened there.
Okay. I'll continue the story here. 3 U.S. officers based at RAF Bentwaters claimed a triangular-shaped craft landed in neighboring Rendlesham Forest woodland in the early hours of December 26th, 1980. The men later told of feeling static as they observed the object's flashing lights and hieroglyphic-like markings. This is kind of what happened too. Mr. Halt claimed the officers who first saw the lights, then a UFO on the floor, in quotes, could not account for a 40-minute period while searching in the woods when their communication system went off air. So the soldiers can't account for 40 minutes, I believe, is what he's saying. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they have no idea where that time went. And that usually means abduction. Here we go. Our friend Nick Pope, a former investigator of UFOs for the MOD, said, "This is a bombshell statement." I wish I had a British accent. Coming from someone who... Do you do one?
No.
Okay. Coming from someone who was deputy base commander of one of the most sensitive military bases in the NATO alliance at the height of the Cold War. When approached by The Sun Online about the video clip, Halt denied making the comments about the abduction. He said something happened to the first responders the first night, December 25th, 26th, but what it was, even they don't know. We don't know there was unaccounted time. Or we do know. Okay, we do know there was unaccounted time. So he's saying that he never said that they were abducted, but he does admit that there was unaccounted time in the incident. And finally, to add to the mystery, Mr. Halt said on the evening of December 27th, 1980, that officers had shouted, "It's back! The UFO's back!" So there you go. That's the story, Morning Glory.
Boom.
This makes the mystery even better. It deepens.
It does. It does.
This is, you know what? If I had to rank UFO sighting stories, I think I'd rank Roswell #1 and Rendlesham #2.
Yep.
The Phoenix Lights would be there somewhere too.
Yes.
What are some of the other ones that we put on that list? Oh, that Australian one. The students at that school that all saw the UFO. That's a pretty famous one.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
All right. Again, like we'll refer to our last episode, this would make an awesome movie. And maybe now they will, because, you know, an added layer to the onion. Come on, Hollywood. Get off your ass. Make a movie about it.
Make this happen.
Yeah. Any thoughts on this before we move on to the sighting segment?
No, I you know, for me, Rendlesham is probably one of the greatest UFO encounters.
I really want to watch something about it now.
Fair enough.
There's got to be something good on YouTube about Rendlesham. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow on my day off. All right.
There you go. Boom.
Okay. And that's it. And I believe you have the sighting this time, right? Yep.
I do.
Okay. All right, jump on in. It's your sighting. Go for it.
All right. So this happened as of this recording 7 days ago. This happened January 11th of 2018 at 7:30 in the morning.
So this is our first sighting of the new year that happened in the new year.
Correct.
Okay.
So this happened in Morristown. Or is it Morriston? We'll say Morristown, New Jersey. The shape of this particular craft was a triangle, and the observer only saw it for 4 seconds. So I want you to, I don't know if that's enough time, but 4 seconds is what they got here. Here are the details. The event occurred traveling northbound on Interstate 287 between Basking Ridge and Morristown. Visibility was good at street level, but the sky was opaque with low lying cloud cover. At approximately 7:30, this would be Eastern Standard Time, a dark triangle moved through my field of vision on a westerly trajectory through the clouds, disturbing the cloud around it as it traveled like a hand through smoke. Can you visualize that?
Yes, I can.
I could not get a definitive view as it was using the cloud cover. All that was visible was its triangular shape and that it was very black or very dark gray. It was silent, had no lights, and was moving at a fast rate of speed. Viewing lasted for about 4 seconds. My best estimate, and this is the observer's report, my best estimate is that the object was about a half-mile downrange and maybe 200 to 300 feet above the ground, just high enough to use the cloud cover. Considering the distance and size of the object in my field of view, my best guess is that it was about 100 feet from edge to edge. And this is interesting. Morristown does have a small airport, but whatever this was, it just didn't look like a plane or anything you would normally see.
Dum, dum, dum.
Yep.
And you got this off New Fork. I actually read this sighting earlier today. It was on my list of possible sightings. So, interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't know if I would really trust a sighting, though, that took place in 4 seconds. But you know what? 4 seconds is kind of a long time when you think about it. I mean, just 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. I mean, a lot could happen in that time.
No, that is very true.
Yeah. And it's a dark triangle. I love that's Brad, that's my favorite kind of UFO is the dark triangle.
Yes. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Nothing. It surely beats a glow in the dark triangle. That's what I'm trying to say. Neon bright triangular shaped UFOs. You don't see too many of those.
No, you don't.
So anything that really sticks out from this sighting that you want to focus on? Any particular aspect of it that you think is interesting?
I want to do a real quick. Morristown, New Jersey has a population of 19,000. Okay. That's half of Wausau's size. And I say that only because Dave would have a reference of how big Wausau, Wisconsin is.
Okay.
So Wausau, the area in which I live, we have a municipal airport that is by a body of water. So you are able to land water-based craft, obviously not in the winter. And like single engine jets. I actually have taken a single engine. I've taken a dual prop. No, it was a dual prop. That's what it was from that airport. I'm not even sure you could take a single engine jet. It is not a big enough airport to have enough runway space to have something that big fly from there.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see where they're saying it's 100 feet from edge to edge based on what they could observe. So what's interesting to me is something 200 to 300 feet up in the air near an area that doesn't have much, a big enough population to support a large airport. My first thought was, I bet you it was an airplane. But looking at their population, they really, the closest, they are gosh, I want to say they are about 30 to 35 miles from New York. They are about 20 miles from Newark. Those are the biggest
Okay.
cities around them.
So,
But nothing would be flying that low,
no.
that far out.
Yeah. Because
So, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
you get that far out, you're way high up.
You're still way up in the air.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting perspective. Interesting observation.
So, yeah, there you go. I'm not saying it's a UFO. Well, it's obviously a UFO. It wasn't identified. But is it an alien craft? I can't say either way, but it's very peculiar that there probably isn't an airport nearby that could support a vehicle, an aircraft that large.
And the shape too. The shape is very distinctive. Dark
Yeah.
triangular shaped.
Yeah.
I like how he describes moving through smoke or a hand.
Well, like a hand moving through smoke.
Yeah. I like that.
Coming from the home of an avid smoker when I was a child, I know exactly what that looks like.
All right. We'll just end it right there.
There you go. Bam.
All right. All right. And finally, you have a pick. So let's just jump right into that, my friend.
Well, my pick is a little unusual because it is an object that I purchased.
Ooh, I like this.
Now, I am going to, and this is really going to be more for the YouTubers, so I apologize, and I'm going to do my best to describe it.
You're very good at describing things, so I trust. I trust your. Yeah, go ahead.
Now I just have to find a good picture of it. Trying to move this quickly through here. Warrior Summer.
Are you going to do a screen share?
Yeah, I am going to do a screen share. God damn. Oh, they have the what? Okay. That is the Pop Rides. Okay.
Ooh, it's going to be a pop thing. Okay.
It's going to be a Funko Pop.
Funko Pop.
There we go. Finally found it. And hopefully it is a good image.
Quite the build-up, Brad. It better be good.
If only my internet were working faster. Curse you, internet! Curse you! It's going to be so much editing out of just crap here.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe you don't want to watch the video part.
There we go. Okay, finally. So I'm a big fan of Rick and Morty, as a number of people are. And I frequent our local Hot Topic in our mall. Mostly because they sell Funkos, but also Alex, my son, is a teenager, and we try to get clothing from there that he likes. And not all of it comes from there, but some of it. And we have become good friends with the manager, and he had kind of alerted us to something that was going to be coming from Funko Pop. And here it is. It is it's a saucer that Rick Sanchez, one of the Rick of Rick and Morty, he created a spacecraft of his own. And it's kind of general purpose. He will drive it as a land-based vehicle, like a car. But he's a garage genius. He can take whatever and make whatever out of it, weaponize it, whatever. And he has managed to basically make a spacecraft with garbage cans as like the engines on the side of this saucer, and it has a dome. Now, the one thing that this does not really portray well is the saucer in the show can seat up to like 4 or 5 people.
Okay, yeah, it's scaled down for
Funko purposes,
Funko.
yeah. And so the Funko Pop makes it look like a single seater, but Rick and Morty often travel together as driver and passenger in the front seat, but they've had people in the back seat before. There's usually a lot of bottles of beer and booze and other stuff that always comes clanking out when they open the door on the passenger side. But yes, they released Rick's ship as a Funko Pop, and it's gonna, well, I have it at work right now. It's probably gonna come home and hang out next to the rest of our Funko rides, Funko Ride Pops. We've got Winston Zedmore in the Ecto-1. We've got Agent Coulson in Lola, the flying car. And we've got Ant-Man on, and I can't remember the name of his flying ant. That's the other ride that we have. So this will go with that particular collection.
Neat that you guys have it categorized like that.
How's that?
You know, how you have all the rides in one area.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could flip the camera around so you could see it, but you might vomit because it's a well, actually, here, hang on. An exclusive, a partial view. I'm going to put my hand over the camera so it's not so jarring.
Thank you.
So hopefully, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Lift it up a little bit. So if you are looking at the video, you can see Winston on top in the Ecto-1. You can barely see Phil Coulson in Lola. And then you can see the wing of the flying ant, and you can see the top of Ant-Man's head.
Nice.
And it's on top of my crazy ninja sword that I actually made that case with a friend of mine.
You need to do like a tour of the Nerdatorium video, and we'll put it up on the YouTube channel.
After I clean it, it's a disaster. The problem is we've got so much nerdy stuff. We're trying to find a good way to organize it.
Just don't become a hoarder. That's all I ask.
No, and I've actually thrown some things out. Like, we pared down our mug collection. So we gave, well, not thrown out necessarily, we gave a lot of stuff to Goodwill. So we're, yeah, I abhor the idea of hoarding because I like to have space to do things, and hoarding is the antithesis of that. So I'm not down with the hoarding.
Has Rick and Morty, have they encountered aliens on the show?
Oh boy, yes they have.
Okay.
They dimension hop and they fly in outer space. So they've experienced a number of alien life forms. Yes.
I don't know why I'm not watching that show. I don't usually watch animation, but it sounds like something that's right up my alley that I would love.
And it's a very tongue-in-cheek show. It takes a very left-handed approach to families. There's a lot of, you wonder, and they kind of touch on it, that Morty has a bit of PTSD from some of the adventures that they have, which, there are times when they've had very close brushes with death. So, yeah. It's a very interesting show, and I highly recommend it. And I believe it's on Hulu.
Okay.
At least in the US.
I don't have access to Hulu, so I'll have to do some searching on my own, see where I can get it from. All right, so let's get back to your pick. What are you going to rate it? How many flying saucers? Oh, this is so meta because it's a flying saucer.
I need to rate my flying saucer. Wow. I like the look of it. They did a great job with it. And I'm going to give it 4 stars.
Okay, so you're not going to use the flying saucer scale.
I'm sorry, four flying saucers for this particular flying saucer. And the main reason I say that is it would have been cool And yeah, it's kind of somewhat aimed at kids, but they could have put some bottles in there to kind of illustrate something that is a part of the show.
That would have been a nice touch.
It would have been a nice touch, but I think that would have put it over the top for me.
All right. Sounds good. All right, hang on. Why did my cursor go back there? Hang on, I gotta check something.
It would have been a nice touch.
Okay, good. All right, and let's wrap up the show. Show wrap. Rippity
Rap.
That is going to do it, unfortunately, for this edition of the Alien Invasion, a Galactic Network podcast. If you would like to read more about the stories and sighting that we covered on this episode, click the links in the show notes. We would like to thank a few people, including Monkey Warhol for providing our intro music, a song called Alien Syndrome. Go to monkeywarhol.bandcamp.com to hear it and other stuff that he's done. Also to Retward von Dernberg, a composer from Germany, for our closing song called Be Water. Learn more about him and his music at thecaravel.net. That's THECARAVEL.net. And finally, thanks to Ben Olson.
Ben!
For recording our disclaimer audio at the very beginning of the episode. Go to benolson.com for more about him. Final thought, Brad, what do you got? Anything?
Oh my God, I'm on the spot. Crap.
Not like we do this on every episode.
I know. So in our recent Funko buying binge, and this isn't Alien related, but they released the Looney Tunes Night at the Opera versions of Elmer Fudd with spear and magic helmet, and Bugs Bunny in his Broomhilda sort of the Valkyrie outfit with the blonde long pigtails or the long braids.
Nice.
And it is absolutely ridiculous. And it was we saw that we had to have it because it's such a wonderful episode of Looney Tunes.
Somebody should do a podcast called A Night at the Space Opera.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Somebody should get right on that.
Get it going, somebody, whoever that person is. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. And we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
All right. And we're out. Growly Bear, thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure. Is he still
Thanks,
there?
Growly Bear. Hopefully he's still here.
We had another viewer as well. I don't know who that was, but
thank
you. Well, I will be turning off the feed now. So goodbye to you people. Brad, hang on.
Okay.
We'll stop the broadcast.